On today's episode of Sounds Gouda, we compare Brian Gutekunst versus Howie Roseman. Let's go.
Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Yeah, ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm cash.
Welcome back in, everybody, to another episode of Sounds Gouda. This is a solo episode from yours truly, Rob Ralph. Jordan Olson is not here today. And I just wanted to do something fun today and do a video comparing Brian Gutekunst, who I think is a very good GM, versus the newly Super Bowl champs, Philadelphia Eagles GM, Howie Roseman. How they both compare their draft philosophies, acquiring players since 2018. So let me specifically say that, because we do know that Howie Roseman has been a GM for a long time. So let's get into it. So some draft philosophies for Brian Gutekunst. He highly prioritizes athleticism, no shocker there, but high RAS scores and youth in early rounds, right? He likes to take a lot of projects. 6 of his 8 first-round picks, 21 years old, with RAS scores of greater than 9. He obviously, no shocker here again, too, this is a Packers channel, but, likes to draft and develop. He rarely trades any of those 100 picks for veterans, and he does prioritize building through the draft with elite athletes. He does have mixed success, though, in later rounds, too, with notable hits like Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Zach Tom. So those are obviously some of Brian Gutekunst's just a short list of philosophies. Going on over to Howie Roseman, who I do consider to be a great GM. And he does really focus on being an aggressive trader and cap manager, acquires proven veterans. I don't think you can see any far from A.J. Brown or DeAndre Swift, and targets immediate impacts in the draft picks. He does balance high risk, high reward moves, for example, Jalen Carter in 2023 with savvy mid-round selections and Nakobe Dean and Jordan Mailata. I believe he did get Mailata in like the 7th round, I want to say. So just an awesome pick there. Emphasizes premium positions. Shocker there. If there's anything that'll tell you from Howie Roseman winning the Super Bowl, his offensive tackle group, offensive line, and his defensive tackle group are absolute studs and beasts. So he likes to build from within and then spreading it out. And then a close second to those groups, both the offensive tackle and defensive tackle, is obviously cornerback, which he addressed this year, taking Quinion Mitchell, who was, I think, probably one of the best and then one of the other best safety / cornerback / nickel hybrid, and Cooper DeJean, who obviously had a pick 6. And then he reloads rather than rebuilds. So, just to talk on some hit rates and some key draft picks too as well from both of these guys. Brian Gutekunst's notable hits, but, from the first round since 2018, Jair Alexander, 2018, his first pick ever as a GM of the Green Bay Packers, all-pro cornerback, cornerstone of this defense. Just been an amazing pick. We'll have to see what ends up happening with him this year. Rashawn Gary in that next year, 2019. I don't know if you'd really consider it a down year. I thought he started to pick up there towards the end, and we'll talk about this a little bit too, but I think this defense is really rounding into form and was one of the only defenses throughout this playoffs that really stymied that potent Philadelphia Eagles offense. So Rashawn Gary, Pro Bowl edge rusher, though inconsistent a little bit early, again, more of a project. And then Jordan Love, with that whole transition in Aaron Rodgers, developed into a franchise quarterback, post that era and post Aaron Rodgers. Awesome mid to late round picks, but Elton Jenkins, 2019, versatile all-pro offensive lineman. Christian Watson, 2022, second-round pick, explosive wide receiver with a very high elite RAS score of 9.96. Zach Tom, I'm sure he's going to be getting paid here soon, but 2022 4th-round pick. Very, very good all-pro starting caliber right tackle. This year, Evan Williams, right, and Edrin Cooper, are going to be studs. And then I'm really still curious to see what we're going to end up getting with Jordan Morgan. So I'm sure that there's a couple of those other ones that I missed, but that's just the short list of what I had. Some first-round misses from Brian Gutekunst. So again, this is an exhaustive list. So if there's any ones that I might have missed, you can go ahead and put them below. But first round, Darnell Savage, 2019, inconsistent safety, and not re-signed. Eric Stokes, injury-plagued cornerback with limited impact. Put Quay Walker on this list from 2022, but we'll see what ends up happening with him. But so far, for where you drafted him, I think you would have wanted a lot more from him. So mid-round bus, Amari Rogers, 2021. 3rd round cut after poor performance, and then Josh Jackson in 2018, a second rounder, failed to develop at cornerback too as well. So on to Howie Roseman's notable hits. First round, Devontae Smith, Pro Bowl wide receiver, one of the keys of Philly's offense, really brings a lot of speed. Jalen Carter, 2023, no shocker here, all-pro defensive tackle, immediate impact for them. Jordan Mailata, again, 2018, 7th round, like I was just alluding to, late round still, an elite, massive offensive tackle. And then some noticeable trades / free agent acquisitions and signings. A.J. Brown, 2022 trade, all-pro wide receiver, transformed the offense, really helped Brown give Jalen Hurts another weapon, and was really key for them to winning the Super Bowl this year. And then the other one, Saquon Barkley, completely revitalized the running back corps group and was running behind probably the best offensive line in the NFL this year. Obviously, they just won the Super Bowl. So some really good key free agent and trade acquisitions. So Howie Roseman misses, though. He does miss occasionally. So first round, Andre Dillard, right? He was on the Packers this year, 2019, a bust offensive tackle, traded after injuries. Jalen Reagor, 2022, wide receiver outplayed by Justin Jefferson, taken immediately after. Can you imagine what that offense would be like if they would have taken Justin Jefferson? I think anybody can say that for a lot of the picks. I know that the Packers do with TJ Watt, Kevin King taking over TJ Watt, right? So, then some mid-round risks and picks for Howie Roseman, but Sidney Jones, 2017, 2nd round, injury-prone cornerback, and never really panned out. On to team successes and narratives. Eagles under Roseman, 3 Super Bowl appearances. 2017, just in the since 2010. So 2017, 2022, and then 2024/25. And always inconsistent NFC contention. Built a roster with 6+ All-Pros in 2024, including Mailata, Carter, and Brown. Makes aggressive moves, trading for Brown that filled the gaps quickly. Packers under Brian Gutekunst transitioned from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love smoothly, making the playoffs in 2023 and 24 with one of the youngest groups NFL teams out there, but have struggled in big games, 0-2 versus the Eagles in 2024, including the playoffs. Moving on to some key differences, but some draft strategy. So Brian Gutekunst, youth and athleticism focus versus Roseman. Roseman, win now trades plus premium picks. Trade aggressiveness. Brian Gutekunst rarely trades top picks. Roseman, frequent blockbuster deals. Super Bowl contention for Brian Gutekunst, 0 appearances since 2010, obviously. And then Roseman from Philadelphia, 3 appearances since 2017. All-pro talent. Green Bay so far about 1 to 2 per season under Brian Gutekunst, and then Roseman, at least specifically this year, 5+ in 2024. But within the last 5 to 6 years, he's pumped out some good All-Pro type of talent. In conclusion, Roseman's Eagles excel in acquiring elite talent through trades and draft, translating to sustained Super Bowl contention. Roseman, I think, is a very good GM. He makes very well-calculated trades to be able to help his team succeed and win, whether it's that season or into the future. And I think that that can come back to bite you at times too as well, but we've seen it work out, with the Eagles. They have been in contention here quite frequently and obviously just won the Super Bowl. And he really does put a lot of emphasis on building in the trenches. Some big bodies, big dudes, big movers. I thought that was the key to winning the Super Bowl this year. Obviously, you got a ton of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs' offensive line is about middle of the row, maybe top 15, debatably top 10. I don't really have the metrics in front of me, but they just got eaten alive by the Philadelphia Eagles. And not only was their defensive, tackle and edge group really good this year, their linebacker group with Zach Bond, and then reloading and getting better as far as the cornerback room goes, because the year previous, they were one of the worst passing defenses in the league, and getting Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, again, like I was saying, a popular Packers player that a lot of people had mocked to the Packers. So, Brian Gutekunst Packers prioritizing long-term development, but lack the high-end talent to overcome NFC elites like the Philadelphia Eagles. So I just wanted to put that out there today too as well. I do think Brian Gutekunst is a little bit underrated again too. I think he is a very, very good GM, and I would take him over quite a bit of different GMs, most of them in the NFL. But I think Howie Roseman is a great GM. He drafts well. He makes calculated trades and risks, which is what you need to do to be able to contend now into the future. And obviously it's evident with how many appearances that they've had in the Super Bowl, how many All-Pros that they've had, and how often that they are in contention, for the Eagles. And with them obviously winning the Super Bowl this year too. So I say for the Green Bay Packers now into the future, let's go build in those trenches. Let's build an elite, massive offensive line. Let's continue to put those big bodies in there this year. If you're going to get a Walter Nolan or a Kenneth Grant or a Mason Graham by chance, if he somehow makes it out of the top 10, whatever. This current 2025 NFL draft is loaded with big dudes on both sides, defensive tackles and offensive line. So let's go out there. Let's load up on that. Let's not obviously forget about cornerback. We know that that's a massive need too, but we do have some money in free agency as well to be able to make some of these splash moves. Wide receivers, another one out there too as well, right? The famous Josh Jacobs saying that we do need a true number one wide receiver. So that's all I wanted to put out there today for you guys. So thank you all for coming back and taking a listen to me this time, riding solo without Jordan. Let us know what you think. Please comment. Please share your thoughts below. Where do you think I was right? Where do you think I was wrong? I'm always learning and wanting to grow and to be better in my content and information that I provide you guys too as well. So I'd love to hear your guys' comments, thoughts on all this. Please, 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 if you are on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, Jordan and I are trying to get to 500 subscribers and 3,000 public watch hours. And then I think Jordan and I want to try and be able to bring out some merch for you guys. So, we are both all in this, and we are in this for the long term, and we'll see some more content, possibly some fantasy stuff, fantasy football specifically, and maybe even some betting stuff too as well that I like to nerd out with quite a bit. So let me know if you'd be interested in seeing any of that stuff. And as always, Jordan and I are on X. I am at Sounds Gouda with 3 A's. Yes, I know, very creative. And Jordan is at Olsen George. So please make sure to send us any questions, any thoughts, comments. Make sure to follow us there on those platforms as well. But that is it for me. We hope that you have a Gouda morning, a Gouda afternoon, and a Gouda night. And as always, guys, go Pack, go.
Been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey.